having cancer is like having someone die. And what I mean by that is, when you love someone and they end up passing away, and how everybody's life is going on, everybody's having fun, everybody's having a jolly time, everybody's working, everybody's going to all these events, and you're home stuck in pain and hurt and sorrow. That's what it feels like. Hi, my name is Michelle. I am from San Francisco, California, and I had stage 3 cervical cancer, and I was diagnosed in 2021. I think it was a wake-up call, to be honest with you. It was a wake-up call in taking care of myself. I had a stroke, and which affected my voice and everything, and I couldn't speak for a month. And within that time frame, I was seeing my doctor quite often just to kind of check everything out. And within that month, I started bleeding heavily, meaning blood clots, and my back started to really hurt me, and my lower back. So my doctor had said, well, maybe it could be premenopause. Maybe it's probably that. But I said, no, something feels different. Just something felt different. And I really don't know how to explain it, but I just it felt different. So I went to go get a pap smear. And after I got the pap smear, the cells came abnormal. I was bleeding so profusely that they couldn't do it in the office. They had to have me go under. So I did that. And then within 24 hours, my doctor had called me and said that I had cancer. And then they wanted me to go and get a PET scan to see how far along I was. And that's when I had found out I had stage 3 cancer. I think it was just, I was in denial. Yeah, I was just in, sorry. I was just in denial. It was very hard. It's okay. I will say this. I will say this, that I really did not realize how much I wanted to live until I, I heard that I had cancer. I had my treatment plan within Kaiser, and it was so, I will have to say, I would just give a shout out to Kaiser because they were so helpful and kind, and they were so familiar with this that they knew exactly what to do. So they kind of like, it was as if they were carrying me along the way. So when I went to my appointment, my best friend came with me, and then they said, well, you have stage 3 cancer, and this is the treatment plan that we're going to do for you. So my first treatment plan was to get 25 sessions of radiation, 7 sessions of chemotherapy, and then 3 sessions of internal radiation. The 25 sessions of radiation and the chemotherapy happened at the same time. So I would have radiation Monday through Friday, and then I would have chemotherapy every Thursday. And then at the last part of it, that's when I had the internal radiation that was done. The radiation made me very tired. They had told me that, my lower abdomen would probably hurt a little bit, but it didn't, thankfully. I was just very tired. I really didn't want to talk to anyone. I was just, I don't know, like, just like, I was like kind of like in a black cloud, I would say, and then, so the first step, the first sign was where I was feeling very tired and I wasn't very hungry very much. And then the chemotherapy, I had it the first day. I woke up the next morning, I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's great. Everything's so great. I was like, okay, I want to get a cheeseburger. I want to have a good time. This is going to be easy. I can take care of this. Well, the next day on Saturday, I woke up and I felt like a train hit me. It was as if everything came to a halt. And that's when everything started to, I just had to start dealing with that feeling that I had. So I guess what happens when you have chemotherapy for cervical cancer is you have, well, for me personally, is I had the chemotherapy on every Thursday. So Friday I was feeling okay, and then Saturday is when it hit to where I felt sick to my stomach. It was as if I was, when I'm not sure if you've ever been pregnant, but when you're pregnant, you get morning sickness. So it was like that times 10, I would say. Like everything made me sick. Even drinking water made me sick. And when you have radiation, I was supposed to drink probably about a glass and a half of water before I went to get my radiation, and I couldn't even drink the water because I felt so sick to my stomach. So, and then basically by the time your next chemotherapy that following Thursday, you start feeling a little bit better and then you go right back down there. And so it was just like kind of a mental game, I would say. Just more or less, I was just trying to keep my mind focused on, okay, this is not going to be forever. Okay, this is not going to be forever. And I would mark down the days and just like try to keep myself in a good mind frame, because you can easily go down that road of just not feeling good about yourself, just hating life. And I would just try to do things to try to to uplift myself. Whether it was, I tried to make it a joke to where when I would go to get radiation, they would have to weigh me. I'd say, "Oh yes, I can do it myself. Okay, yes, good. I'm down 5 pounds. Okay, great. This is great." So I would try to just convince myself that there's good out of this. It's a good thing. And try to make the doctors laugh. And that was just my way of dealing with it, I guess you could say. I am Christian, and my internal radiation doctor, the first time I saw her, she had a cross on. I go, "Oh my gosh!" I go, "Are you Christian by chance?" Because she was talking about God, like she brought that up, like God's gonna take care of you. And I asked her, I go, "I'm sorry to ask you this, but I need to ask you." I go, "Are you Christian by chance?" And then she goes, "Yes, I am." And then she ended up praying for me, and my heart broke because I was just like so thankful for that, because you know we go into church, you would expect that, but when you see someone out in the normal world, you don't know who's Christian, who's not. And so I would never want to put that on someone. But anyways, so I just felt so relieved when she prayed for me, and she was just so kind and so helpful, and I'm just so thankful for her. I had to do the internal radiation for 3 weeks. And then once that was done, I had to wait 3 months. And so within those 3 months, what I did was I just started taking care of myself internally. I started taking vitamins. Before, I never really took vitamins. I just started doing things that I wasn't doing before. And I think that happened because when you have, sorry to sidetrack, but I had a daughter at an early age, so my whole focus was her growing up, making sure that she was okay. And I kind of put myself to the side. And I think that's what moms end up doing, is they kind of put themselves to the side. So when this happened, it was kind of like, okay, you had the stroke, you had this cancer, it's starting, you need to take care of yourself. And so that's just what I started doing, to start taking care of myself, whether it's with pills or whether with medications, whether it was eating more properly, eating more things that were more healthier for me. And then I found out that then my doctor called me in September, and then he told me that I was cancer free. Oh, I was just so thankful. Yeah, I just, you know, it's hard to explain, but like, sorry, I really don't talk about this, but I will say having cancer is like having someone die. And what I mean by that is, when you love someone and they end up passing away, and how everybody's life is going on, everybody's having fun, everybody's having a jolly time, everybody's working, everybody's going to all these events, and you're home stuck in pain and hurt and sorrow. That's what it feels like. So the rest of the world's going on, and you're just like in this zone of just like being miserable, I guess you can say. And really, that's when my faith kicked in. And that's when I just said, God, I will take care of myself from now on. So when I was told I didn't have cancer, I was just so happy. I think that the biggest thing that I felt through out of all this, really, I'm just gonna say it again, is more or less, I really did not realize how much I wanted to live until I was faced with hearing that I had cancer, and something inside of me just said, "You have to fight," and so that's what I did. Didn't shake me to the core, but I was scared. But when you have cervical cancer, they have to put a tattoo, like one little dot of a tattoo on both sides of your lower abdomen, and I was so scared about that. So that was a little bit it was didn't even hurt, but I was just the fear, right? The fear of the unknown. And that just like how it was for each of the processes, whether it was for chemotherapy or the radiation. When you go into the room and you see this big machine, you're like, oh my God, is this gonna hurt me? Just don't know nothing. So I think it was just a fear of the unknown. And that's why I am, on TikTok, and I love speaking to people who just found out that they had cancer. And I think the biggest thing that I would like to say that I wasn't told was that this is potentially curable. So when you hear the words you have cancer, you're automatically in your mind subconsciously trying to navigate your funeral. I hate to say it, but it's kind of true. Like those thoughts go into your head. And so for me being on TikTok, I love it because a lot of people who are who have cancer, they're scared, they're worried, they don't know what they're going to do. They think about their lives, the life flashes before them. And so I love to talk to those people, and I love to share with them, like, it's going to be okay. Those thoughts, what you're thinking is normal, but please know that a cervical cancer is treatable. And now how treatable it is, it just depends on how far along and so forth. Thank God mine was stage 3 and it was curable. I was prepared when I heard that I had cancer, that I was prepared to hear that I had stage 4. So when I was told I have stage 3, I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm like, you just things like moments like that. I appreciated and I took in and I celebrated. My energy level, I think before I'm very hyper and like this, that I go all around and so forth. But I think that now that I had this, like I get a little bit more tired more easily. And that's just also I told it to my doctor, he said that's also due to the age. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to hear that. So, but I will say I get more tired easily. And so like, I'll be up to but when I first had the cancer and right after the treatment, I was so tired. I couldn't even stay up to like 7 o'clock. Then little by little, it started going back to normal. Now I would say it's normal, but I feel like my energy level isn't as hyper as I was before. So when you hear that you have cancer, you have to dig deep inside your soul and find the strength that you never realized that you had. And you have to believe in yourself. And what helped me was my faith. My faith is where it really helped me. I was focused on listening to Christian music. I was focused on just reading the Bible verses. I was focused on watching podcasts of Christianity or NDE, the near-death experiences. Anything that would get my mind off knowing that there's more to life than what I'm experiencing right now. And my hope for everybody is, if you need anything, please message me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to guide you through. And you will go through this, and you will come out on the other end, and you will be stronger, emotionally, mentally, and physically.